Hey, I invited my friend to go somewhere to play. This is why I only slept for 4 hours today. What's up? It's a Closure Detective here investigating your favorite albums. And today I'm going to be very quickly, very fast-pacedly doing an album review on the latest Willow album. Willow, as in Willow Smith. Lately, I feel everything. So Willow Smith is the daughter of Will Smith, also the sister of Jaden Smith, and this is her latest album. Yeah, going into this album, I was prepared to be disappointed, and I was prepared to listen to some bad lyrics and bad production and bad everything, right? But to my surprise, this album is actually not as bad as I thought it is. So essentially, I think in the mid 2010s, Willow Smith dropped an album, and it became one of my least favorite albums of the 2010s. It's just so sloppy and shoddy and just poorly written. But I can tell that Willow Smith has improved her own lyricism and her own style over the years, and now we have arrived in this album, which isn't a rap album or an R&B album or pop album or anything. This album is rock. It is alt rock and pop punk. And this is all in a musical movement lately that I would like to call the detrapification, because the music industry has hit peak trap, and now a lot of artists who originally are, maybe not even a rapper, they have to go either indie pop or pop punk. So, I mean, we have artists like Miley Cyrus, and also last year with Machine Gun Kelly's pop punk album, which is still an incredibly sloppy and cringy rock album, in my opinion. We also have Willow Smith's attempt at alt rock and pop punk. As expected, Travis Barker is featured on this album 3 times. So let's talk about the Travis Barker songs first. Oh, actually, before that, I'd like to say that, um, yes, this album is better than I thought it is, but I still have to say that the vocals are not all that great, not all that strong. The production is a little bit too reverby and echoey sometimes, and I think the lyrics are still kind of surface level and not really all that well written or anything. But that being said, though, some of the songwriting on this album is actually not that bad, and that leads me to the Travis Barker songs. The album opener, Transparent Soul, which just every time I listen to this track, I feel like I changed my opinion. The first time I listened to this track, I hate it. The second time, I actually kind of like it. The third time, I thought, okay, maybe it's kind of in the middle. But yeah, the lyrics are just kind of mediocre, talking about some guy's soul transparent, so she can look through you because you have a transparent soul. That being said, though, I still think it's a fairly catchy song. It has nice pumping drums, nice guitars, and a pretty awesome, exciting album opener. The third track is called Gaslight, and it has a solid verse, solid chorus, soaring guitars, banging drums. It's catchy as hell, and probably one of the highlights on the album. And then we have the track Grow a little bit later in the album, which also features Travis Barker, as well as pop punk alt rock legend herself, Avril frickin' Lavigne. And it sounds great. Avril Lavigne on this track totally steals the show. She's totally in her element on this track. And even though it's been over a decade since Avril Lavigne's peak popularity, she still sounds super fresh on this track, which is really cool. But yeah, overall, Grow is a pretty good song as well. We have lyrics talking about growing up, maturing. Again, the drums, the songwriting, it's all pretty catchy, pretty nice, and nothing to complain about. And we also have the track XTRA, which doesn't really feature Travis Barker, but I think the production is not bad. We have a moodier instrumental and these really reverby sound effects, and usually I don't like reverb in pop punk or punk for that matter. It's just like, why? But the reverbiness makes the moody instrumentals pop out even more. Also, the track features XTRA Whack, and her eccentric rap verse on this track is pretty cool. Then we have the rest of the album. First of all, we have the track Fuck You, which is a 37-second long interlude with marching drums and Willow Smith just yelling, "Fuck you!" And this is easily the most obnoxious and annoying moment in the entire album for me. The track Don't Save Me is kind of structureless. It doesn't really go anywhere, and it just feels like a track that just didn't quite happen. The track Lipstick is just okay, and the track Naive, which is actually before Lipstick, is a low-key, slow-paced track. And this track, it's just too reverby. It's just too echoey. It's just too washed out, and I just didn't quite like it, honestly. Even though it worked on the track XTRA, it didn't work here, because ultimately putting a reverb sound effect on alt rock is just not a good idea, man. The track Come Home has this push and pull thing where the guitars and the drums suddenly get super loud and then suddenly it gets super quiet, and because of that, the whole track feels like it's trying to build up to something, except it doesn't actually build up to anywhere. The track Forever is once again too reverby, too echoey. At first it does feel like something interesting. At first it's very low key and it sounds personal, but it just doesn't build up to anywhere. Also the lyrics, like, oh, I feel the sun going down a mountain. It tries to be poetic, but honestly it doesn't really achieve any of that. And the album ends off with Breakout, which is a nasty, noisy finish to the album, where Willow Smith basically rants, talking about how she doesn't want to be chained down, she wants to break out. And it's just not a very solid ending to the album, in my opinion. It's just a bit of an instrumental lull for me. So yeah, while I think there are highlights on the album for sure, this album is definitely way better than anything else Willow Smith had put out. But it still has room for improvement, so I'll give it that. But still, the Travis Barker songs and the song where XTRA Whack raps, not bad, not bad. So I'm gonna leave it at that. My favorite track here is Grow, and my least favorite is Fuck You. I'm giving Willow's Lately I Feel Everything strong 5 to a light 6 out of 10. So, have you listened to the Willow's latest album? Reminded that I'm rated like it, and subscribe if you want more. Thanks for watching. I will be reviewing KSI, Alexis Marshall, Dark Side very soon. I need to leave. Oh my god.